Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. Market cap 437 billion. On a nice little rise. The SEC, WSJ, apparently with some bullshit, just spreading some fake news. Seems like that's pretty standard nowadays. I don't know what kind of repercussions you get for doing that shit, but people lost money, and we're going to continue to see all kinds. It's very hard to know what. That's why I don't know. It's not a good idea to be too jumpy. You have to realize the nature of the beast you're dealing with. And man, I was going back to just listening to what all these people are saying about the future and what's going on, because there's a lot of wisdom. There's, especially when people speak their mind, if it's not calculated, if it's not written down, you can get a lot of what they really feel. And what sometimes, your inner gut, you can almost predict the future. I know that's a little out there, but I really do believe in that stuff. So what a lot of people, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a new asset class emerge. Young people don't want to buy gold. They really don't want to buy gold. If you ask, any of my friends, a lot of them are moving on to crypto. They want something that's digital, that's easy to move. They don't want to have to deal with storage fees. They don't want to have to trust. That's the biggest thing. Our parents' generation, when they grew up, they relied, the government was pretty heavy-handed. And, as the time went on, the trust in the governments with what's going on with the bank bailouts, all we know as quote-unquote millennials, as the younger generation, although I'm not in my 20s anymore, I'm just saying that even the teenagers, we're growing up on a new way. The times are changing. I truly believe in 10 years, even 10, 15 years, esports is going to take over regular sports. It used to be nerdy to play video games. You used to have to be on the football team. Now it's actually bad to be on the football team because people say, oh man, you're getting brain concussions because the children are actually doing their research while playing video games. Ninja, if he was in, one of these high Twitch players, if they go to high school, they're balling. They're cool, right? They're hip. It's a new generation we're moving into. Young people relate with cryptocurrency. Young people relate with responsibility. Not having to trust a middleman. That's what we're leaning towards. That's all from my research, from what I'm hearing. That is where most of the heads are. Now, the older people, of course, they're not going to understand that. They're going to be like, of course you can trust the banks. Of course you can trust governments. Why not? That's if you listen to, the gold bugs, they're like, well, these companies have been in for 50, 100 years. And of course, their reputation is great. They still don't understand that trust is, if it's not necessary, it's not needed. You wipe it out. Trust is always a luxury. And when you have to trust somebody, that's not a good thing. We don't want to have that. We want it to be A to Z. You hand to me, it goes to the end point, no middleman needed, point blank, period. That's what we're moving into. And we're becoming more and more tokenized, And people want to say, oh, well, no, there's only going to be one, crypto, or there's only going to be a handful, and there's not going to. We're already seeing it. Venezuela is giving 30% discounts to people who use their oil. Now, if you're a country and you're buying oil from Venezuela, what are you buying it with? Are you going to buy it with your fiat and pay 30% extra, or are you going to convert it into their petro, then buy the oil? Obviously, 30%, that's a lot. That just happened. We're going to see that a lot more. We've always had not crypto, but tokenization. What is V-Bucks in Fortnite, or gold in World of Warcraft, or when you used to get Chuck E. Cheese tokens that were only good at Chuck E. Cheese? The only difference, they didn't have a blockchain. People could fake them. People could just print, make up a bunch of Chuck E. Cheese tokens if that ever became to it. WoW and gold was being, it's manipulated. It's not a crypto. It might as well. It's as flimsy as a number on a screen. If Fortnite really wanted to and they made a crypto, holy crap, how expensive would that be if they had a finite amount and that's what you needed? There was a finite amount of V-Bucks. Think of it that way. If PokerStars had 100 million coins, it would be a monster right now because you would need to buy PokerStars coins just to play, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that play every single day. The price would be extraordinarily high. That's when you see crypto meeting use case, when people need the token. And we're going that way because of why? Because of incentives. This is an incentivized world. If you go to a fast food restaurant, they have these little VIP programs. Hey, you sign up, you get a card punch, and the more times you come, the more discounts you get. Well, imagine if you had a token that tracked all the times you came automatically, and you automatically got discounts over time to the point where it would be stupid for you to eat anywhere else because you're a VIP member at Carl's Jr. or wherever the fuck you're eating, right? Or whatever restaurant or whatever business that you do. They're always trying to make you a part of the family. They want you to always come back. They want you to get a better deal if you use their token or their product over anyone else. That's why I believe we're going to a tokenized world. I believe all tokens, you'll be like, hey, use our token, you get a discount, and you don't have to rely on fiat systems. You don't have to rely on anybody. You make the rules. Wax, for example, people say, well, why can't you just use Ethereum? Because they're going to have guilds built in with voting. Like, that's the thing. You have little perks. You can say, I have my Dan's Pants store. If you get Dan's Pants coin on Tuesdays, there's an automatic built-in 5% discount. Boom. That one little thing makes it better than just having some kind of fiat token or Bitcoin or whatever, where you're at the mercy of whatever that community wants to do, as opposed to having your own coin. If PokerStars had their own coin, gave you a discount for using it, everyone would use that token. The token would blow up in value, obviously. So there's companies where if the token becomes more valuable in quote unquote fiat price or whatever you want to kind of peg it to, because no matter what in society, we're going to peg something to something, right? You're always going to have to have some kind of median, like a USD or a Bitcoin or some kind of central point that most people will kind of peg it to. But at the end of the day, as the token becomes more and more expensive and quote unquote the other pegged asset, you get more out of it. So if Dan's Pants token went up to $30, well, now you're going to, or $300 as opposed to 30, now you're going to be able to get $300 worth of pants. See, that's how it goes. It's not like you're going to have to pay $300 for a token and then now the pants become more expensive. No, you get the luxury of being in on a ground floor business. And as the business grows, the value of your token grows because it's finite and they'll buy more pants. That's what people need to wrap their heads around. That's what I'm starting. That's what I'm really seeing. And I'm seeing it. And it doesn't take that much of a leap of faith because we've always been that way. Why doesn't WoW just drop fiat dollars instead of gold, right? Or let's say Fortnite. Because you can buy the Fortnite bucks, right? The V-bucks. You can buy them with your fiat. Well, why don't they just have everything pegged in fiat? Why can't you just buy a shirt for $5? No, they want you to buy V-bucks. Because guess what? If you don't spend all your V-bucks, you'll have a little bit left over where you're guaranteed to spend that with them. Because it's V-bucks and it's only good on Fortnite. If you're a Fortnite addict, like millions of kids are, the V-bucks could be very, very expensive if they were finite. That's the whole point. So you're thinking of how it is now. If you think 20 years from now how futuristic it's going to be, everything, it's just going to be a tap of a phone to convert currencies. Like things like Bancor and all these big anchors, there's going to be a liquidity world underneath everything that runs everything. So no matter what, your tokens are always going to be liquid. You're always going to be able to trade them to the point where the business is up. It's going to be just very fascinating what I envision seeing. You can go in and just, have whatever token it is, convert it for their token and boom, do business with them instantly, fast. It's just so much better, the world that we're going into, that I see. And I really see that there's going to be tokenization for pretty much everything. There's no reason really not to be. The incentives are there. That's where we're rolling. We always tried to do it with the Chuck E. Cheese tokens. We've always tried to get people to come back no matter what. And really seeing Venezuela saying, hey, 30% off if you use our token, that's fucking huge, really. That's one of the big things. If other people follow suit, it's going to be really hard not to go down that route. And if you're in hyperinflation countries, it's really nice to have a token that, really saves your business. Because as the fiat hyperinflates your token, if it's finite, and your business is very valuable, if you sell goods and services that people actually use, your token should retain its value and then grow versus said pegged fiat that is being hyperinflated. And moving on, talking about why don't the bigger companies, why don't these, Googles and Facebooks and all these, you've seen Facebook start to dabble in the blockchain, you start saying these companies move really slow. They're already super rich. And there's really no reason for them to come out with something so drastic. They don't need to. They're already on top of the world. That's the mentality, and that's why a lot of people get knocked off. You get content when you're at the top. When you're at the bottom, you couldn't possibly. How could someone be content? We're all humans. I'm a human, so I can dig deep into my brain and say, okay, well, if there's a bunch of humans that are running this world, people think there's lizard people, whatever the fuck you believe, but let's just, for the sake of not going crazy, let's just say humans, right? Then, you know, we kind of have the same thought process if we're all humans. So you get content when you're a billionaire. You're not as hungry as somebody who really, really wants it. So it's just it's a very obvious reason why Blockbuster went out and didn't go online. They didn't think they needed to. They thought their shit didn't stink. They were content. Netflix wasn't. Netflix took the risk. It's always a big risk. You know, you have people like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett and Munger calling you a baby brains trader if you're messing with crypto. Like, people are going to paint you in a different color. You know, a lot of people don't like controversy, especially when they're on top. People always think, oh, well, no matter what, I'm so far ahead, it doesn't matter. We'll adapt when the time comes. And then Netflix kicks you right in the ass. So that's where we are. We're going to keep this one a little bit short, a little bit sweet. Just what's going on from a different perspective from the crypto world. You know, as far as the market go, the market is trading sideways. A beautiful thing. You know, we had that little skid. I'm seeing EOS is still above $17, which I said was very, very bullish. Bitcoin being over 9,000, even though with all the pressure, you have people like this.
Shorted if there was an easy way to do it.
Look at that face. Look at that face. Look at him. It looks like it pains him because he knows Bitcoin and what it's going to do. It's just not, he's a billionaire, and it's just not worth severing his connections to be pro Bitcoin. Look at that face. He doesn't look happy. I mean, he just said, I would short Bitcoin if I could. Wouldn't that make you happy? He looks so sad. All right, well, market's trading sideways. Very bullish sign for me. Anything can happen. The news could kick the market right in the dick, but as far as I'm concerned, we're absorbing the blows. A new asset class. Warren Buffett wants to talk about how it's an asset class that doesn't produce. Well, he's talking about crypto as if it's only one thing, because some cryptos do produce dividends. Something like a PayPal or a PPT. There's a lot, you know, you can even stake no limit coin. There's a lot of coins that actually do produce. It's just a blanket statement that's untrue. And even if for the ones like Bitcoin that don't produce extra dividends or a value producing asset, right, as he wants to call it, then it doesn't matter because it's finite and it's at the ground floor. So it's like, remember the utility token I said? So if I started out Dan's Pizza and I made the best fucking pizzas in the world and I just gave out tokens to everyone in the community, right? People would come back, here's my token. I would have the token, right? And then they would eventually, over time, people, because there's a finite amount, I would start to have all the tokens. People would then eventually have to put a $sign on it. And eventually that token will fill out to what a pizza would normally cost, right? Bitcoin, it was free, and then people saw value and it started naturally growing, right? There's a pizza token. Obviously, people can trade it to someone who's hungry because they got it for free. But hey, I got this token. You want a pizza? I'll sell it to you for $1. Like, oh, cool, yeah, right? After I've already given them out. And then naturally the pizza token is going to come out to about $10 because that's what the price of pizza is, and people won't pay $20 for a pizza token. So that's kind of how what's happening right now with Bitcoin. It's a utility token, and in my eyes, if it's still like at 5 cents per pizza, so it's like you have a 5-cent token that can get you a beautiful, delicious pizza, right? It could be even a vegan pizza for you vegan people. Think about that. That's how I view it. So yeah, it's not a value producing asset, but however, it's like a 5-cent pizza, and eventually it's going to fill out to $10. That's a lot to fill out. I think we're just still very, very, very big. So, you know, some beautiful person named Satoshi or group of people named Satoshi dropped something in the middle for free and like, here you go, humanity. You put your price on it. And like I said, it's still kicking around like 5-cent pizza. So when this thing fills out like it's supposed to be, I envision, you know, I don't need to envision, right? I have to envision the smaller digits that people tell me every day. People tell me that Bitcoin's at $9,000. You know, I see a couple of commas. Just saying, I'm going to kill it there. Cheers. Peace.